room. Too low. Chair.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Oz Talk with the Dummies podcast. Finally here. Took a couple weeks, but we're finally back. We got a special guest, Dennis Vahsholtz, this week. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm good. Didn't have to work today. Don't have to work tomorrow. Don't have to work the day after that. Yep, so I'm good.
Wow. Ronnie?
I'm doing great. I'm not having quite the teacher summer, but I'm doing good.
Dennis, how are you tonight? You hear us, Dennis?
Just fine.
Yeah, we
fine.
can hear you.
There we go. Now he's going. All right. So first things first. Are we gonna do?
I can.
Got us.
And
we're gonna do.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
We got you.
We got you, Dennis.
We're gonna do points. Yeah, a little choppy. Straighten out here in a minute. Either way, we're gonna start with points.
Yeah. We got the points, the KDGA points updated. Looks like right now, the season were to end today, we would have a repeat champion. Jordan Schaefer in the open division is leading with 291 points. Smitty and Tate right behind him. Looks like the next overall would be Nate Taylor in advanced. He's at 278 points, so pretty hot up there at the top. Craig Winters is also up there. Was that Randy Mattingly at 222 points? So we got a bunch of people with a lot of points already. Joe Morrison in MMA2 has got 173 points. There's a lot of guys with still a chance to win. I mean, we still have half the season left to go. So pretty hot race. Pretty familiar faces in a lot of the divisions. But there's been a lot of people play this year, so it's pretty impressive to see some of the points numbers people are putting up.
Do we know? I know we probably don't have this in the notes. What's the most amount of points scored in like a season?
Wiggins scored over 1,000 once.
Yeah, there's been a few over 1,000. I think Wiggins might have got to right at 1,100 one year when he won it, which is But we were doing double and triple points back in those days. Yeah. It's a little bit different, but yeah, there's some guys that are for single pointers. There's some guys scoring a lot of points. Helps that we have a ton of KDGA members, right? So
that's true. Yeah, big time.
Recent events. We got The Rock. Trevor Wood took that one down. You got a note there.
What's the note? That note is that while Trevor Wood was the open winner, Andrew Pyle actually had the lowest total score from the advanced division. So he technically, kind of won it. Just had a similar thing happen. Brockbuster Open out there in Garden City. Ethan Chance won, but JB, Mr. Brown actually beat him from the Masters division.
Yep, it's a true story. Little Apple Open, Schaefer came from behind to catch Mr. Babbitt and myself and got us by 4 strokes, shooting a 10-23. He played some really solid golf that round, so that was good.
You guys hear me?
Didn't you take down a hot one out there in Junction City, Smitty?
Oh yeah, $3,000 payout. Didn't advertise. I was the only pro player, so I could pay what I wanted. I thought about boosting my PDJ stats. Somebody would rat me out, but I tell you what, if that course gets a little bit of play and gets some time to develop and beat in, it's really got potential to have some pretty cool holes. There's a lot of long holes, a lot of tight wooded holes, so it's pretty cool. Potentially can be cool.
I wanted to make it out to that one, but I just moving and all that, I couldn't.
Junction.
Yeah,
I'd have probably hit that weekend too. I was down in Tulsa playing Masters event down there, but yeah, you told me that place is pretty cool, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, sounds like Alan has to drive from Manhattan to do a lot of the work himself, and very, very little city support. So, yeah, and then we had the Salt City Open that DB threw at Orchard Park, and that went to a playoff between Spencer Cox and Noah. I say Fuqua.
Okay, I'm not sure.
So yeah, kid getting into the playoffs, so that's fun. Chautauqua, Tate Galloway. I heard Tate Galloway took home a pretty good chunk of change to win that one up there. So
I was curious what that payout ended up being.
Big win for Tate. I heard north of $200 is what I was told. So pretty good win for him. The double deuce one I really hated to miss, but unfortunately, or not necessarily unfortunately, I had other plans today. Nicholas got married on Saturday, so I was unable to make it out there. But Schaefer looks like he won by 6 points, kind of blew the field away to win out there, and they raised $500 for the Lions Club out there. Leahy always raises a bunch of cash out there, so that was cool. I mean, it's sweet. And then you want to talk about the fling that went down yesterday, Smitty?
Yeah, man, it was a great event. We had 100 people sign up. We filled up a couple weeks ago. We were full, and we did a lot of shuffling divisions and people dropping out and people filling up, and we still managed to get 100 people with nobody on the wait list. So that was great. We had a great stamp on some cool discs. So very few of those left. So that's good. But yeah, Swede threw it down, man. 1023 average and shot some really good disc golf. Again, I mean, he every time he's played this year, I think he's won. So that's cool.
Yeah, I got to see the whole second round of it, so I got to play on the lead card with him, and that lead card was ridiculous. To be honest with you, man, the golf that was going down was pretty crazy. I shot 9 under par the second round and absolutely got my doors blown off by everybody. Swede was on one, AJ Dunmire was on one, but I gotta tell you, Josiah Davenport is the real deal. That kid absolutely shredded Derby. He took a bogey on the last hole because he had a chance to win still. He had to try to make a 55-footer to tie Swede and make him make a 20-footer. But I'm telling you, man, that kid beat that place up for 20 holes, and it was impressive.
He's good, man.
He's the real deal, man.
He's on his way to Am Worlds in just a few weeks. So if he gets on a heater like that, man, we could have a world champ back at home, which would be great.
Dude, it's super possible. He was making everything, and then the disc going in there at warp speed. Like the confidence level is bonkers. And then when he had Ramser caddying for him, there's like more confidence than the card could stand. It was an impressive show, and nobody did it better than Swede, right? Swede went 13 under and 12 under, and I mean it was crazy. It was great golf. It was pretty impressive stuff.
Our last round was great too. Luke and I went into it tied, and we were I think 4 or 5 ahead of JB, and 20-hole layout after hole 13, so 15 holes. JB was 1 back of me, and Luke was 2 back. And I mean, JB was on a real heater, man. He was making every putt, throwing them close, and came down to the last hole, and I was up by 1, still over JB, and still 2 over Luke. We battled all the way around. Hole 18, that really long sucker, and JB had the box, and he threw his drive just a little bit off to the left, so I knew he was going to have to flick it a long ways, turn it over, lots of things going off. So I thought, man, I think a bogey wins, a 4, probably par. So I played it for par, and Luke threw one way down there, and then he shanked his up shot pretty bad. It wasn't good. And JB had a little trouble getting down there, and I laid up for the win. And Luke was easily 40 foot out, and JB missed, and Luke Wysocki just canned it like it was nothing. Man, so JB shot that hot round and then came down at the very last putt. It was fun to watch. It was a fun battle to be in.
And the golf was good all the way around. I think I counted in the tournament there was like 10 or 11,000 rated rounds thrown down without a 1,000 rated player in the field. So that kind of tells you the type of golf that was getting played.
Yep. So cool.
Coming
up.
Events coming up. We got Toodle Toss May 27th. We got Skyview and Ellis on June 3rd. Doodah also on June 3rd and 4th. Skyview is a C tier and Doodah is a B tier. It'll be a 34th annual, and then Par Flight in Ottawa. That looks like a C tier on June 4th, and then Norton Open on June 10th, and that'll be a C tier. So lots of PDJ stuff coming up.
When was the last time? When was the last time we had one that far northeast on the Oz Tour, Smitty?
That's the farthest we've ever been. I think we used to go to Topeka once in a while, but this is way out there.
Yeah.
So, and Scott Reek is the TD of it, and he asked me if I'd come do the payout, and I said, well, yeah, heck yeah, there'll be a whole new demographic of people to mingle with. And And then I found out it was the same day as Doodah, so I was a little bit disappointed in that. But we're gonna go down there and have fun. And that Forest Park, I think there's 2 parks there in Ottawa. I think Forest is the one on the far end of town that's just beautiful. Lots of big cottonwood trees and thick grass. It's nice. So, yep. So,
Check that out.
yeah, you should come. Come. So, and then I guess the last thing on Oz Tour updates is Mr. Workentine applied for some course improvement money and was given the money, and he's installed multiple tee pads at Miltonville back in the trees. So
Awesome.
yeah, so that's great, man. That's I think
Just joined.
2 or 3 people that have collected on that this year. So that's good. Yep. After several years of not having anybody collect, so that's great. So
Don't forget about
Right
those
on.
funds.
yep. Kansas Park is the other course. Yeah, that's the one more in town. Forest is one down by the river. Somebody's saying I can't see who it is.
It's Craig Winters.
Well, he would know. He's played almost 1,000 disc golf courses.
All right, who's running the rules school?
All right, we got a new segment. Smitty, you want to let everybody know about the new segment we're going to put in that you got?
Yeah, we're going to try to kind of pay attention to weird things that happen at tournaments and try to see how they play out at the tournament. And then we're going to search and try to find the rule to back it up. And if we can't find a rule or a reason, we're going to go to the PDGA and ask them. And that's exactly what we had to do this time. We had to hit up the PDGA because we weren't quite sure. So, Ronnie, you were there when this all went down. So why don't you tell us how it played out?
Yeah, I'll give you the short version. We were playing up in Park City. The first hole of the last round, Jacob Harmon throws his disc to the right. If anybody's ever played hole 1 at Park City, you kind of know it's kind of a tall grass area. It's generally, when we play it casual, as out of bounds to the right of a little creek area. Well, it was a sanctioned event. Nate was smart enough that, he painted lines. But the line got crooked, and the line was hard to see. It had rained all day. And Jacob just walks over, picks up his Frisbee, looking at where the line was going. Really couldn't tell that the line actually went behind him. Moved his Frisbee from what was actually already inbounds where he thought the inbounds line would be. Did not play another shot because as soon as he made the move, he looked behind him, saw the line, replaced his Frisbee. And then after searching the rules for a significant amount of time, we were unable to find an exact rule that could make that determination for us. So we did assess him a 1-stroke penalty for picking up a disc in play, essentially. And we made neither you or I really knew after the fact. I brought it up to you afterwards, and what would you have done? Neither one of us were 100% clear on the rule in that situation because no other shots had been played. So I know you reached out to the PDGA and you have no responses.
Yeah, I do. Dennis, you got an idea what the rule would be?
Well, I don't think you're supposed to pick up the disc without letting everybody else see where the disc is.
Correct.
But as far as the penalty on that, when there's an out of bounds situation involved.
Yeah, I
And
know.
to clarify, Dennis, he was not out of bounds.
Oh,
He
well,
thought
did
he was out of bounds, was actually in bounds, and then replaced it back to the original spot after he found that out.
Did he mark it before he picked it up?
He did. So he picked up – no, he did not. So he picked up a Frisbee because he thought the Frisbee was out of bounds. He walks over, puts a mini down on the area where he thinks the inbounds play should be played from, realizes that's a mistake, picks the mini up, and now replaces it to its original spot with no subsequent plays.
Oh, boy.
So,
Yeah, tough one, huh?
so
Really
with
tough.
Did we know the conclusion, and can I guess what it might be? Like what
go
you're
for
supposed to do? Oh, would it be assumed that that's somebody's like saying that that's not their lie, like it's an unplayable lie, and then they have to re-tee? Would that be the right?
No, because you can always say a lie is unplayable, but it's
Right.
not free to have an unplayable lie. That's going to cost you a stroke. But normally what happens in this situation is the shot might be questionable as to whether or not it was safe or out. And the person may go up there and everybody assumes that it's out and they move it. The guy may move it, say, oh, I'm in. And he moves it before anybody has a chance to validate that. And that's the way the rule is written. And it's actually, if you do that, it's called out of bounds automatically.
Mm-hmm.
No question whatsoever. So, but in this case, the group, from my understanding, the group felt as if Jacob picked it up and then said, you guys figured out, oh my gosh, he's actually inbounds. And he hadn't thrown, he hadn't done anything. So, according to the PDGA, they said 810A would be moving your lie back to the original position. It would be like if somebody came out and took your disc out of the middle of the fairway, you'd say, where do you think my lie was? Here it is. That's where you would play it from, right? And since nobody thinks Jacob's cheating, kind of the spirit of the game idea would be, and common sense, right, would be not a big deal. Put it down and just continue to play penalty free. But if one person, if there's only one person who knew where the disc originally was, then you couldn't call it safe. You have to have two people to one to say, yeah, this is where it was, and the other guy to agree. So
and who, I don't know who posted this comment about verbal warnings. As far as I'm under the impression, verbal warnings almost don't exist with the PDGA anymore.
That's crazy.
That's sort of a thing of the past. But Smitty, you're correct. And I think the one reason why I felt all along like it probably should not have been a penalty. I mean, that's why I was scouring the rule book, the entire hole, to find that out. The only thing that makes that really hard in this situation is Jacob went over there, immediately picked it up. None of us had a chance to go over there and look at anything first. He just assumed, hey, this is always out in normal play. It's got to be out now. I see a line. But the problem is the line actually almost immediately adjacent to where his disc was is where the line like kind of jogs back behind him. So before we could actually all come together and make the ruling as a group, the decision had already been made, and then the action had been taken, and then taken back, and that's probably where it gets a little bit murky. But I think I think there's one giant lesson to be learned in the whole situation. Right? Don't do anything. Let the group make the decision for you, and then let the rules play help you, in that situation.
Yeah, and what's the guy's name? Mike from the PDGA sent me a nice email, three paragraphs long, which I'll share this document when we get done here. But after these 3 paragraphs, here's the last statement. Short answer is, I don't think a penalty should be assessed. But I could see a TD ruling the other way. Clear as mud, right?
Well, since you've come up with this idea for this Rule School segment, you sent a couple of emails to. Is Mike the same one who's responded to all of those?
No, I've gotten 3 different people each time.
So it's great that they're that they're willing to respond and help us out with this, because and we just had a couple happen this last weekend that will be for future segments. So
and I think if any of the viewers
absolutely
are playing a tournament, something weird happens and we don't know how to do it, send me or Ronnie the synopsis of what happened, and we'll get with the PGA and see if we can figure out how to actually do it. I mean, we're dummies, but the PDJ seems like they might know what they're talking about.
Or we can just ask Dennis. We'll just get Dennis on. And Dennis, what's the rule?
Hey, I think it's time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been waiting.
All right, let's go. Let's get with Dennis here.
But
Dennis,
I will tell you this before we get started. When I first asked Dennis to do this, he said he'd rather get a root canal.
Well, an interesting fact on that is be careful what you say, because shortly after I said that, I ate some a hard piece of granola and cracked a tooth, and I think I'm going to have to get a root canal.
Oh
Glad
So
we
no.
I have
helped
to
you
do
out.
this and get a root canal. It's double jeopardy.
Oh man.
All right, Dennis. The way we start this, we call it 3 from the tee. So we're going to ask you the 3 questions we're going to ask to everybody that comes on the show. Okay. Question number 1: do you remember the first disc you ever owned?
Yes, I do. I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, shortly after the '85, I think, World Championships down there. My sister lived down there, and I've been playing with just a regular frisbee, shooting at targets with buddies for years before this. And we happened to drive past Riverside Park and along the river, and I saw these guys shooting at the throwing at baskets, and I didn't know what they were. So I got out of the car with my frisbee and got in with a group and started throwing with them. And I asked to see what kind of discs they were throwing, and it was a lot different than mine. And I said, "Where do you get those?" And they said, "Well, that bike shop right across the street." So I threw a few holes, and my sister and parents were getting tired of waiting on me, so I ran in there and looked to see what they had. And the guy behind the counter said, "Well, heck, here's some options," and ended up with a Lightning P38. I took that home and tried throwing it. Didn't know how to hold it or anything, and tried figuring it out. And that was my first disc.
That's a fantastic story.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
I don't know that the other 2 are going to be near as good. Well, actually, we might hear it. Dennis, you've got a foursome. Yourself and 3 people. Who's the other 3 in your foursome?
Oh, kind of a dream foursome, or
Sure. Whatever it is to you. If you got one more round of disc golf.
Oh, one last round. Well, Darren Bottom and my 3 sons.
We'll let you
That's
have
easy.
mine. Perfect.
That's great. I knew DB would be in there.
And we would play best shot with my 3 sons again with Darren.
That's and then this one can be in any however you determine it, Darren or Dennis. Now you got me thinking about DB. Your most cherished disc golf memory?
Oh gosh. Well, disc golf memory. Wow. Well,
that one of
I'll
the
tell
frisbee
you
at
what.
Tulsa is pretty awesome.
Yeah. In 2003, Bill Paulson and Buddy Kastner and I went down to the World Championships in Flagstaff. Bill drug his little Can-Ham trailer, and Buddy flew in, I think, and we flew in and rented a car, and we took our tent and camping things out, and so we camped out using Bill's Can-Ham as a base and a place to eat and cook and everything. And Mitch and Brent Edwards would come over in the morning, have breakfast with us. And I ended up playing really well that week. And it seemed to be like a park that I played well in because I liked it, a lot of trees, and everybody else is bitching about, why are we having a tournament with all these trees? It's just not fair. But I just had an unbelievable 4 rounds and ended up taking about, I think it was 6th place out of about 50 some in my 50 plus division. And that was a pretty good memory, just being able to be with all of my buddies and friends and camping out and seeing everybody. And plus it's always good to play well.
That's great, Dennis. So we'll be headed to Flagstaff here in about 6 weeks
Two
Yeah.
guys in a Tacoma.
for Masters World. So
Yeah. I
I can
thought
only
they
hope it
are.
could be half that awesome. That's a
Yeah.
great story, Dennis.
Yeah,
It's 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so here now we're going to go to some questions from Facebook that people have asked us this week, and we'll ask the question, and then we might veer off somewhere because that's the part people love. They love hearing the insight from our guests. So the first one comes from Kevin Neufeld. He says, "How did you go from playing casually, just playing like you said around the park, throwing at trees, to where you are now, owner of a disc golf company, 2 disc golf companies actually? How the heck did you do that?" Short version.
Well, the minute I started playing this, I knew I was going to be playing the rest of my life. I just fell in love with it, and that's all I wanted to do all the time. And I figured, well, to justify my my habit, my passion, and everything, and as much time as I spending playing and going to tournaments at that time, and plus it was running not only starting this business but working my full-time job and raising 3 boys at the same time. I thought I better justify my existence doing this by trying to provide a service to the community and try to make a little money at the same time. So at the time, people were having a really hard time finding discs, and just one thing led to the other. And I kind of hooked up with the Wichita Club and the Topeka Club, the Kansas City Club, the Hayes Club, and asked them if I had discs to buy, would you buy them from me instead of going to California or Colorado and waiting on their mail order and paying the shipping. And they said, yeah. So that's how it started. Yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. And he knew you were going to say it supported your habit because he called me on the phone and he said, he's going to say this. So then you have to follow up with this. He said, have you gotten to play as much as you thought you would by starting this company? The company was the way to support the habit. Did that lead into playing
No.
as much disc golf as you hoped?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, this business has become a monster, and but I get the same kind of the same kind of thrill with the challenges running the business as I used to get as figuring out challenges on the course. So it's kind of replaced a passion, but I still enjoy getting out, but not being able to practice and hone my skills as much as I'd like to. It gets kind of frustrating when you're out there, but I still love to play casually on league rounds and with friends and things, but I just don't get to do that as often because there's other things to do, and there's just a certain amount of time to do them.
Well, you're not going to kid me. I remember a few years ago you came to a DB's tournament at Little River when he had all that OB. And if I remember correctly, you were up there at the top and maybe one of the only non-OB people or nearly non-OB people the whole round. So you still got the skills.
That was 12 years ago.
Well,
seems like yesterday.
I got a chance to play with Dennis at the Inman Food Drive this winter, and I'll tell you what, he laid it down pretty good there too. So don't let him fool you. He's still got a little bit in him.
Hey, we got room in the back seat of that Tacoma.
I'll tell you what, I will move to the back seat.
Tell you what,
all right.
I'd love to be able to play one more round at that Little River course.
Oh yeah, that was gym.
That place.
That was so much fun. For a course with 8 trees, that was awesome.
That was the first place I ever played a league round of any kind in Kansas. So special memories there.
Well, at least it was never windy when you played it.
Yeah, never, ever.
So our next question comes from Greg Jones. He says, being one of the few who have been there since the early days, what are some of the generational changes not related to disc and skill level you've seen in the sport?
Gosh, I had a hard time figuring out what he was kind of asking on that. And, well, I can see the age of the players have increased quite a bit, because when I started playing, 35, I was a master when I started playing, because master's age started at 35. And so now, back in the day, there was just a lot of single guys going out and playing disc golf, having a good old time. Now I see a lot of families playing, all ages, kids and families playing together, old people playing. And that's, well, generational changes. I see a lot more opportunity or to watch more disc golf online, which wasn't available back then. It's just a lot of things have changed, where you start the business having a trifold catalog to starting getting on the website and on the internet, and just trying to keep up with technology. A lot more tournaments now than there were back then. There were very few tournaments during the season, and so the choices available now are unbelievable. Almost mind-boggling. I mean, you could go anywhere within the state, anywhere in the nation. You can go anywhere in the country and find its course, where before that, 30 years ago, the courses were few and far between.
Mm-hmm. And you got a little book from the PDJ that had them all in there.
Yeah.
That? You kept it under your car seat. Now you can just open up your phone and boom, thousands.
Yeah.
No, that question brought up two questions in my mind that I'd like to branch out. Number one, how in the world did you communicate what discs you had available? How did people order discs? You know, now it's so easy. You just go to your website, you fill your cart, boom, you hit send. They pull the order, fill it, mail it. How did you do that back in the day?
Well, yeah. I think we had kind of a order form. I do remember going to a printer and printing a catalog. I did run across one of those. I need to take some pictures of that and post that. It's kind of fun and interesting on that catalog that we had. And I would mail that out to the clubs. I would get the Disc Golf World News that would feature a lot of the tournaments coming up on and around the country. And I would go look for the phone numbers for the tournament directors and mail them the catalogs also, and let them see that there were discs available, that I had some, and I made a lot of contacts that way. But it's mainly phone calls because of, like I said, I started just within the state, just calling Mark Jennings in Wichita, Harvey Barger,
Yeah,
Bruce Hudson in Topeka, Ron Rice in Hayes.
Well, if you happen to come across one of those catalogs,
Yeah.
There's a guy in Hutchinson who has a fantastic disc golf museum.
I heard
that catalog would be perfect in.
Yeah. It was a lot simpler back then. There's only three brands, and there weren't that many discs.
I know. There's so much now. And my other question was, you've been playing longer than me by a long shot, but I can remember us always saying, oh, we're right on the cusp of getting big. It's just around the corner. It's just around the corner. We've got people signing million contracts to play disc golf. Did you ever think that was a real thing until it just happened the last 4 or 5 years?
I knew it would be eventually coming, but I didn't know when. I'm glad to see it's actually happening.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just such a great sport. It's just a matter of time before people found out about it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it took COVID to hit everybody to really balloon this baby up.
Yep. I think back to somebody like Climo, who was, phenomenal for
Ahead of
a
his time.
decade. Yeah, and that guy, he didn't have $1 million coming in, and I watched him on a podcast a month ago or something, and he really seemed pretty bitter about his slice of the pie being so small compared to, somebody parlays a lucky shot and one win into $250,000 a year contract. So it's crazy to think.
He'd win a world championship, then go back roofing houses back in Florida.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
Or 7 in a row.
You think Paul Macbeth's ever even been on a roof? I'm gonna say no.
What's another good one I saw for Dennis? Dennis, I'm gonna give you a layup. What's your favorite pro these days to watch?
Oh boy, well that's kind of a loaded question because we have a number of pros under our roof right now, and if I say a favorite, one of them might get a little PO'd, but there's Calvin is my favorite one to watch, but I love watching Greg Barsby because he has more of a game that I can identify with. Accurate shots going through trees, where Calvin, he's just so superhuman that he has throws that I can't believe can even be made that long. Garrett Gerthy, I love watching his distance that he gets. On the female side, I love watching Owen Scroggins because she's such a spark plug, live wire, great putter, which I wish I could have 20% of her skill level at that, doing that. But those are the ones I enjoy watching.
Is Ohm have a Millennium disc?
No, but
No. But the other three you mentioned do.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
What's Double G's? I saw the word Heiserbomb something.
Yeah, Sabo.
Okay.
Sabo.
And then Barsby's the Scorp.
Scorpions. Yep.
And
Calvin's the Draco.
What about Philo? He's part of that.
Philo, yes. He doesn't play very much, so I can't hardly watch him anyway. Right. But I love being around him. I love playing with him when I get a chance. But he's on the Falcon.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. How's all that come about? Is that like a connection through Innova, or did you approach those guys, or they hit you up, or what?
Yeah, a little bit of both. And since Innova makes our discs on a contract basis, and so they're kind of still under their roof, and some of them approach us, and then we approach them if we have see that we have a disc that they would consider throwing.
Yeah, cool.
Greg just had a big win, didn't he? Didn't he win Masters?
Yeah, De La Vega. Yeah, he came from behind to do that from the chase card. I think.
Yeah. He absolutely.
I mean, of course, Calvin just wins everything. So.
Yeah, he's a top dog right now. In my opinion.
He's the best player in the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think Gannonbur's not far behind.
He's pretty close.
Yeah.
Which, hot tip, Dennis, Gannon Burr is available next year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
break out that checkbook.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So,
Whatever you got to do.
let's do another question. Let's see here.
We had a pretty good one in the comments. I don't know.
Okay, hit it up.
I guess. Oh, maybe he just copied and pasted. Never mind. That was somebody else. Yeah.
I think it's one was already on there.
Yeah,
says,
it's one from AJ.
Yeah, there you
do
go.
we want to hit that question already?
Yeah, I think that was a good one.
Okay. What's the number one aspect of the sport that has fueled you to keep playing for so long? And did you ever go through stints of thinking you might quit playing? And what did you focus on to maintain your love for the sport throughout all that?
Well, I never thought I'd want to quit playing. I've slowed down in my playing, so that might have helped. But every time I get out there, even after long stints of not playing, every time I get out to the course, it's just the feeling comes back, a little bit of excitement, ready to go. There's just so many benefits to the game that the stretching, trying to keep your flexibility, the walking. I just love watching the disc fly and trying to get it to do what I want it to do. I guess I never really considered quitting because I knew I couldn't. There's just too many positive aspects to it to give up. But I do take sabbaticals for sometimes weeks and months at a time, but I'm always ready to come back if the time allows. And the time is what's kind of critical. It's just hard to find the time because there are I like to go visit the grandkids, but whenever I do that, we always go play disc golf too. Always find some time to play.
I liked Alan's question. I'm going to hit you with Alan Fox's question, and you can tell us as much as you want. Alan said, when and how did you become the owner of Millennium Discs? How did that all transpire? Because didn't John Houck, wasn't he the original owner of Millennium Discs or something?
Him and Harold Duvall, they were co-owners. And because John was owned Circular Productions down there in Texas for so long, and he was a big Innova promoter and player, and he and Harold were good friends. And I think Harold realized that there was a need for a more durable plastic disc besides DX plastic. And so they kind of made a deal that they started this company that Millennium Disc would be the first company to come out with a durable plastic type disc. And since Harold was one of the big stockholders of Innova, Innova West let them do it, and let Harold and John distribute Millennium Disc. Of course, I'm certain California did too, but they let them have the first go at it. And I guess about 2011, I think it was, John wanted to focus more energy on his course design, just running a disc business and doing the course design work at the same time. It's just splitting him too far. And so he approached me as one of their biggest customers at the time. So that's how it happened. And at the time, my son Ned was looking for a job. He'd just finished about six summers worth of being a firefighter for the Forest Service, and he was getting tired of doing that, and I was trying to figure out a way to get him involved in the business. And so it seemed like something to try out. And so we bit the bullet and did it, and the rest is history.
Cool. And I mean, you guys are putting out some good products now too that really are getting a pretty good following, like the Scorpius. Lots of people have one of those in their bag for sure. Calvin killing with the Draco doesn't hurt.
Right.
So,
and he's
yeah.
also thrown the Quasar quite a bit in windy conditions, and so that's nice to see him throwing that too without us even asking.
Is the Toro yours, or is that an Innova disc?
It's Innovus. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure on that. Cool. Awesome. Oh, here's another. We got to ask you this one. I can just see it's from somebody on Facebook. I can't see who it is. It says, what molds of disc do you have in your bag right now? And what weights do you throw at the Grandmasters division?
Well, my go-to disc is a 154-gram 0G Quasar. It's kind of a unicorn type run, and I set aside a number of those in case I lose too many of them. But I've given one to Darren Bottom and some other people because they even though they're lightweight, they're stable enough to where you can count on them in fairly windy conditions, and they just seem to fly forever. I do bag, so I hardly throw anything over like 165, but JLS, Scorpius, various weights, EchoStar Scorp, 0G Scorp, and then just a regular like 165-gram Scorp for windier conditions when I want something that I can count on. The XD had been my putter for years and years, and oh gosh, it just broke on me just a few weeks ago at Marquette, but I am trying to break another one in. So that's been my go-to putter for years. But since my XD broke, I flip-flop back and forth between that and an Omega Super Soft, and I'm leaning more towards the Omega Super Soft now for my putter. But those are trying to get the Solstice in my bag. That just came out during Las Vegas, so I'm still trying to find a place for that. But those are the main ones. But my Aries, Sirius Aries is for an understable disc, and the Polaris LS for also an understable disc. So those are basically about 8 discs is about all I use all the time. I don't need anything else. I don't know how to throw anything else, I guess.
Man, the XD is a lot different than an Omega Super Soft. Like the XD is a really low profile.
Yeah.
It's too bad you don't know a guy that owns a disc golf company or anything.
I asked Harold if we could come bring the XD back, and he asked why. Because I like it.
I'm sure we can find you some.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
The bat signal's out now.
Yeah. One more question here, and then I've got the last question to ask you, and then we'll play our game. Question is, what's your favorite course that you've played?
Oh, well, geez. One of my first courses I played, Frontier Park at Hayes. Yeah. I was just blown away when I made the trip out there and met Ron Rice for the first time. Had to run him down during break at the city office to talk with him about disc golf. And that's when he told me, yeah, we're having a tournament coming up here pretty quick. You want to come? And yeah, I said, heck yeah. So I made the trip back there, and that's when they had the tone polls. And I think there's about 6 people show up for the tournament, and it's just windier than all get out, like normal back then. And throwing DX plastic and wondering how am I going to hit that tone pole.
That's awesome that Hayes is still up there. I mean, you've played De La probably, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've have you played out of the United States anywhere?
Oh,
The cruise.
oh yeah. We went on a disc golf cruise. Sun King put on a disc golf cruise, and we played on an island, a made-up island in the Bahamas. They pulled the ship up to the island. They took us to the island. We played 18 holes or so with a portable course there, and Jay Redding was there, and Dez, and so that was the only out of the country course I played so far. But
Dennis, I think Millennium
So
Disc needs to sponsor a disc golf cruise, and I can tell you right now who will buy the first 6 tickets.
well,
Done.
if I could just get away from the warehouse, I have some ideas about that. Yes.
that's awesome. That's so cool.
Are you ready for the last question?
Oh gosh, I hope so. I hope it's the last one.
I gotta warn you, it's a doozy, a real doozy. Are you sure you're ready?
All right, let me have a drink here.
All right, so you hear on the news that a flash flood is hitting Harrington. I mean, it's coming in hot and heavy. You and Annette are already on the boat. There's only one more seat. Okay. Who are you taking from headquarters with you? And who are you sneaking out the back and not telling? Just to let you know, this came from your headquarters 2 weeks ago when I was there.
Oh gosh.
Inside job.
Oh man. Oh man.
I had to take a drink for Dennis.
Yeah, that's not a fair question. I have to go back to the same question about who's my favorite sponsored player.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter who I pick, somebody's going to be hurt.
I would suggest you don't leave Lindy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
I would give up my seat.
There we go.
There you
I
go.
would drown.
Dennis still wins.
A true captain goes down with the ship.
Dennis still
Yeah.
wins.
So, man, that was fun.
That was
fun.
I could go all night.
I don't think we can outdo you, Dennis. What are you doing next month?
No. I'll be. Let's see. Next month I might be in Vermont. I'll be too far away.
Too busy, huh?
Yeah.
They have internet there.
Do they though?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Dennis, we got game time. Are you got another 5 more minutes you can play a game with us?
Of course he does.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Hey,
So
you're not going to lose. I can promise you that.
You trust me. We got Gerber. You're not going to lose. So this is the game. We have I have pulled the list of PDGA money leaders, single season money leaders in the state of Kansas. Okay, PDGA events only, single season only, Kansas only. Okay, I pulled everything back to 1983. That's as far back as it would let me pull. Since then, 14 different men in the state of Kansas have been a single season money leader among Kansas players for PDGA events. Dennis, you are the guest. You're the guest, so you get a guess first.
Take him. Take the one that we all know.
Oh gosh. Oh, I'm not very good.
You
at
know
this.
all these people, Dennis. I can assure you.
Just thinking of it. Yeah. Oh man.
Good game.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to write this down.
Oh boy. Single season.
So it's just a player's money PDGA earnings for a season, and I took the top person for each one of those seasons, and there was 14 of those players, and these are pro men only, any division.
And it's just for like events played in Kansas, like in general count.
No, the events could be played anywhere. These are Kansas players with PDGA
pro men
with PDGA earnings for a season. I think Dennis is froze.
No, would Kevin Babbitt be one of them?
Kevin Babbitt led the Kansas PDGA earnings 5 times.
Wow.
Okay.
EMAC.
Eric McCabe, 13-time money leader in the state of Kansas.
Rice?
Ron Rice did it 1 time.
Whoa, nice. Nice
Good
grab.
Got
On you, Dennis.
I got one.
Would Smitty be one of them?
Chris Smith never led the state of Kansas in PDGA single season earnings. Shocked as we all may be. Dennis is frozen shocked. Look at that.
Oh, he's not frozen. His eyes are still moving.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect, Dennis. That is strike 1.
Harvey Barger.
Harvey Barger never led the state of Kansas in PDGA earnings for a single season.
Timeout. Gerber is leading for the first time ever.
Well, he hasn't
We're
guessed
tied.
yet.
We're
He's
tied.
only
We're
got
tied.
one right.
I had one.
He's not
I
losing,
had
though.
one. I had one, but then I lost.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna throw Nate Martin out there. I don't think so.
Yeah. Hey, CD Steiner.
Nate Martin is incorrect. CD Steiner is also incorrect.
CD's Missouri.
As he's on the Missouri side, so I'm gonna let you.
Oh.
I'm gonna let you get a redo on that one, Dennis, because he's a KC guy, but he's on the wrong side of the border.
Yeah.
We'll give you a do-over. There was only 2 names on this list I was unfamiliar with. So, Dennis, you know everybody.
Yeah, but remembering, that's the problem. Oh gosh.
How far back are we
I
going?
had
1983 was as far back as I could pull numbers.
Jeez. Well, yeah,
It's been
hardly
14.
anybody.
14 different people.
14 different people.
How many times did EMAC do it?
13 times.
We've got 3 correct.
13 times.
5 seconds, Dennis.
I give up.
Dennis will take the strike.
Yeah, it's got 2 strikes. Logan Harpool.
Logan Harpool has never led the state of Kansas in
Oh
single
my
season.
goodness, this is tough.
Are you
Oh,
kidding me? He's
man.
not the current leader? Last year?
No, sir.
Uh,
A little bit of a trick in that one, but no, sir.
Check your stats, bro.
Hey, bro, I pulled it right off the PDGA. They got some cool. The PDGA's got a lot of cool filters now.
Oh,
Looking at chat.
no looking at chats.
No looking at that.
Man, I'm.
Take
Well,
it.
you already look now.
I know.
Take it. Take it. I think it's one.
Humphreys.
Luke Humphreys has done it 4 times.
Thanks.
The last 4 times.
Thanks,
in fact.
Schaefer. That doesn't count though.
Well, it shouldn't count. We'll give
I
it to
mean,
you.
it helped me win it. So.
Dennis, you're going to hear some of these names, and you're not going to be happy with yourself.
Well, yeah, I know. That's my world. Oh man.
You had someone in the chat give you a hint. Start naming friends.
Oh gosh. Oh well. Darren Bottom.
Darren Bottom.
Bill Paulson.
Oh, there he goes. That's the only one I heard. Bill Paulson did it one time.
Oh, we get 2 guesses.
Oh.
No. I only heard one guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other one was wrong.
I didn't hear that one.
Guessed Harvey.
Smitty.
Yeah, I guessed Harvey. Harvey wasn't it? How about Sandman?
Chad Garrison is not correct.
He gone.
He's out of here.
That's 3 strikes. I'm done.
He's
I
done.
lost to Gerber.
Gerbs,
Yes.
you can ice it right here, buddy, and then I'll give you guys the remainder
Oh,
of the names for the win.
Really. It wouldn't be like Wiggins or somebody.
Ben Wiggins did it one time.
Oh,
Gerber has won the game.
Gerber.
Guys, I'm going to go through
I
the
did it.
list of the remaining
shoot.
people. Right, so we got 6
Moss.
of the 14. Dan Cashin 2 times. This is a name I'm not familiar with. Brad Drees 1 time. Dave Williams 1 time, also not familiar there.
Yeah.
Downtown Randy Brown
I
1
knew
time.
it. What year was that?
I don't have the year on that one. I'm sorry. It was in the 90s, obviously.
When there wasn't a million tournaments.
Das Loomis 1 time.
Hmm.
Dixon Jowers 1 time. Bruce Hudson 6 times.
Bruce.
The second most in state history. And Dennis Vahsholtz 1 time.
Somebody said that in the chat. Incredible.
And that would be your 14 men who have led the Kansas State in PDGA earnings for a single season.
Wow.
What
Good
year
game.
was that?
Did it? I don't know. I had to like start
Yeah.
turning stones over to and looking at tree rings to find that one. I believe it was sometime around like 91, maybe 91 or 92.
Mm.
And you did it from not the open division, obviously.
Wow.
Maybe when we share the
Matter of fact, I can look at it right here. I believe I have that up somewhere around here. I can tell you that you guys continue on, and I'll find that information.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say. I lost to Gerber.
Hey, I owe it all to Schaefer. Thank you, Schaefer. I appreciate it.
No, you got
Dennis Vahsholtz was second in 1991.
Somebody in the comments said 1993.
Second in 1992.
It's more of a question mark.
maybe you can just share all of them on that.
I will. I will do that.
Bottom
I'll
of that
compile this
document.
list and get that for you guys because it was actually pretty cool because I had to go year by year and look at that, and it was some names that you forget, obviously. But yeah, it was pretty cool. But Dennis did do it.
That's awesome, man.
In the top 5 a lot of times, actually. There was a lot of Dennis Vahsholtz on that list.
Oh boy, those were the days, I'll tell you.
Well, you probably traveled to a lot of PDJ events outside of Kansas in the in the neighboring states.
Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma.
As far back as what, 10, 12 years ago, there was not very many PDJ events even in Kansas.
That's right. Right.
Cool. Man, that's awesome. That's a good game, Ronald.
Thanks, Dennis. To say it's been a pleasure would be an understatement. It's been
Amen.
It's been
awesome.
Been one heck of an hour, and it's flown by. I could sit here and do this for 2 or 3 more hours without a problem.
Thank you for coming on. We need maybe once a year, maybe.
Well, we'll see. I think I've already said all that I know.
I
You know
find
what?
that hard to believe.
I say we go this way with this. I say we let Dennis give us suggest the next guest, and I'll try to hunt him down and see if they'll be game.
Oh, gosh.
Dennis, who do you think could tell stories and give people the feedback that they wanted and things they wanted to know?
Should we tell Dennis who's already been on? In case he doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who doesn't know, Ronnie?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this goes out to millions upon millions of people every month. But Dennis is up there in Harrington, where the signal's not always great.
I'm working my butt off all day. I don't have time. This is. I happened to see Mace Man last week just to see what I was gonna see what I was in for, but outside of that, I don't have a clue.
We had Mace, we had Paulson, and Scott Reek.
Jordan.
Okay.
And Jordan. Yep.
Okay.
So who do you think we should who do you think we should pick on next?
Oh, my good buddy Darren.
You got it, buddy.
I was hoping to see that. I was hoping.
You got it.
It's out there, DB.
Oh, he's game.
Holler at your boys.
I think he might be in the chat.
He has been in the chat.
There we go. Cool. Yeah, you're getting DB's getting more votes. So that's what we'll do. I'll try to bother Darren and see if he's game. And as you can tell, I'm in my garage and I'm running out of light. So every time I turn the light on, I can't.
Well, we've got to watch the sunset behind Dennis, so it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. That proves that we're live. So
Dennis, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It was fun, Dennis. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. And
thank you for having me on. Thank you. Now I have to go get a root canal.
the offer's out there for Flagstaff. Keep it in mind.
All right, guys.
Okay.
We'll see you next month.
See you guys. Appreciate it.
Later, everybody.